Do you know what harmless error is here in a civil lawsuit in New York? You want to know the answer? Come join me for a moment as I share with you some really great information. Hi, I'm Gerry Oginski. I'm a New York medical malpractice and personal injury attorney practicing law in the state of New York. Harmless error is when an appellate court, a higher court, is now reviewing what happened at the trial level court. Somebody has lost the case, and now they are appealing to a higher court, typically to the appellate division. And there are different divisions within New York State in the appellate division. There's the first department, second, third, and fourth department. Now, depending upon where you live, that's going to determine which department you're in. So now, as the court is reviewing the legal rulings that are made at the time of trial, there may be an issue that's raised by the attorney who lost the case, who says, listen, I think the judge never should have allowed this piece of evidence in. And now the appellate division might look at some of the rulings made by the trial judge to determine whether or not they were legally correct. The appellate court might come to the conclusion that some of the rulings made by the trial judge are incorrect. But now they have to ask another question. Did those rulings make a difference in the outcome? So that if the ruling was different, then the jury would have reached a different conclusion. And if they determine that the outcome likely would not have been different, they will call those errors harmless errors. Yes, it was an error that the judge should not have allowed this piece of evidence in, but in our collective opinion, it didn't make a difference in the jury's final outcome. And in that instance, the attorney who has lost the case, who is now asking the higher court to review it, now doesn't have a leg to stand on because the appellate court has determined that those legal rulings, yeah, they were a mistake, but it didn't make a difference. So why is this important? It's important because it will arise anytime an attorney has lost the case and now they seek a review from the higher court, from the appellate court, to determine whether or not there were rulings that were improper that did in fact result in an improper outcome. And only by having it reviewed by the appellate court can now they make a determination about whether the trial judge's rulings were correct. So why do I share this quick information with you? I share it with you just to give you an insight and an understanding into what happens in these civil lawsuits involving accident cases and medical malpractice cases and wrongful death cases here in New York. You know, I acknowledge and I recognize that you're watching this video because you likely have questions or concerns about your own particular matter. Well, if your matter did happen here in New York and you're thinking about bringing a lawsuit, but you have questions that need answers, what I invite you to do is pick up the phone and call me. I can answer your legal questions. You know, this is something I do every single day, and I'd love to chat with you. You can reach me at 516-487-8207 or by email at Gerry, G-E-R-R-Y, @oginski-law.com. That's it for today's video. I'm Gerry Oginski. Have a fantastic day.